Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're actually going to be in the kitchen making pickles. Yes, a grand Patreon request has come into my life, so I figured, what better way than to use phallically shaped objects to articulate my appreciation for a very good profit and also very good patronage. So I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be pickling today. It is not just going to be the making of pickles. We are going to be making pickled various delicious isms. This is going to be an interesting video. But kind of starting off, we need two things. One, we need a pickling apron that will fit our vibe, and two, we need a drink. So let's get those two things, and then we will prepare ourselves for what is to come. There's beer, and then there's beauty. And personally, I'd rather drink than look good, especially on camera. But, you know what? I don't know, man. Today's gonna be a chill vibing day. So, I've got my beer that I'll never fear. And so I went onto Amazon and got a bunch of little jars. I'm gonna be filling up 5 of these today with various goods. Like in the bedroom, when you can't make it, and you can't fake it, you just break it. And that's why I can't keep a man. Now, now that the cringe is over, let's actually get into making this shit, because I'm starting to disappoint myself. Oh, dropped my pickle. Have you ever guys seen Pickle Surprise? I have a serious question. Have you guys ever seen Pickle Surprise? I know it's like an old, video. I don't know where it even came from, but I remember watching it in, 2010 from, an older posting on YouTube, and I have to full-heartedly state, Pickle Surprise is a fucking nightmare of awesomeness. It's like in the same era that Shoes was kind of promoted, And if you haven't seen Shoes, you've missed out on something beautiful and magnificent. But anyways, on to the main point. I've got my jars here, so we're going to be starting to rock these and fill them up. So, regarding starting us off, we're going to be making the brine before we do anything else. I have two magical things that we're going to be using for this brine. One is very warm white vinegar that we had sitting in our car, and then the other one is going to be for the beets. This is the goo from the beets that we're going to mix down with vinegar, and we're also going to add a ton of salt, and maybe we'll throw some garlic with it, and we'll basically make a pickled beet in its own beet juice. So I was steaming beets for this just so that they would be kind of soft and could absorb some of the goodness. They're not going to be crunchy, they're just going to be tasty. So I don't know how I'm actually going to do this, but the number one thing we're going to need for this is salt. Now what you're supposed to do is dissolve this while cooking it, but all of these liquids are warm, really warm, so I don't know how necessary it is, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get this off so that I don't have to keep on Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do that. And all I've got is a little shaker for salt, so what we're gonna be doing is just grinding it into there. I have no idea how to measure for this. I'm not gonna measure for it. It's probably a mistake that I'm not going to measure for it, but what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that's going to happen is it's not going to taste good, and then I'm either going to tell you that it tastes like shit, or I'm going to lie to you, like most people when they cook on camera, that it tastes good when it's actually not, until I get exposed by somebody trying out my recipes, which don't try out these recipes. But yeah, and we're just going to take a sip of our delicious, also fermented product, and we will get into this madness. So, I'm going to start with the beets and the beet juice. And we're just gonna add a bunch of salt to this mixture, and I hope you can see all right. We're just gonna add a bunch of salt, and then hopefully it will all level out. And I might actually add garlic salt to this. I think this is gonna be easier. We're gonna add garlic salt to this, just so that we get a garlicky flavor, and then we also can not have to worry about shaking this into here forever, because this thing, I did not think about getting more salt. Out of all the things I thought I was doing right with getting all the ingredients and groceries and stuff, I forgot salt because I didn't think we really needed salt. It's kind of one of those things that you always have in your house, but I kind of fucked that. So we're just going to pour a bunch of garlic salt in here, and the garlic salt is stuck in the bottom. So we're just going to pour a bunch of garlic salt in here and get it in there and get it going. I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to guess a tablespoon, something. I have no idea. I'm just gonna fill it up until it looks good. And beets have naturally occurring sugars in them, so this is already gonna be kind of sweet. So I'm not gonna add any actual sugar to this. I'm just going to add vinegar, basically. Vinegar, salt, garlic powder, and then the beet juice is gonna act as its own sugar. And if you don't like doing this, just do it the normal way with like vinegar as the main liquid. We basically just have to make the liquid. I'm not gonna be too worried about measuring, but I am generally estimating this is about a cup of liquid, a cup and a half, and this is gonna be about, I'm gonna add a little more, so maybe 2 tablespoons worth of salt. Garlic salt, so not actually just, you know, salt. And we're gonna just use this distilled white vinegar. We're not gonna get too fancy about it. I figure like this will be the best option regarding the matter, just so that, you know, like I could use like rice vinegar or something, and I kind of want to because I like a good like rice vinegar vibe, but I'm almost out of rice vinegar, so we're not gonna have enough for it. So we're just gonna add some of this. I would say this is about a 50-50 ratio of beet water to vinegar. I'm estimating for this one, we'll be more accurate with our measurements for the actual vinegar mixture. But this one's literally just gonna be like an experiment. Just a little experimental in the kitchen because we can't be in the bedroom as I usually do say. So yeah, this is looking pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. She's looking sly, she's looking slick. So these are just beets that I boiled. And by the way, if you are not a beet fan, boil them or steam them, and then take salt, garlic powder if you want, or garlic, but salt, pepper, lemon or vinegar, or like apple cider vinegar or something, but lemon's really good, and then olive oil, and just drizzle that on there. It's a vibe, dude. So I did peel this beet before I actually started the boiling process. I peeled it, and I also cut it up. And I'm glad that these jars are small because that gives me the excuse to eat the rest of these beets before they even get like pickled. But I think these jars are a little tiny. I wish I had picked like some, you know, less dainty jars. And the beets are still a little bit warm, so pardon that. But, you know, all for fermentation. You know, all for the good stuff. And there are, I think, other ways you can seal your jars and stuff like that, but I just have like very sealable jars, and I'm just gonna put them like in my fridge to kind of do their thing. I'm not gonna be like leaving them out. I think I could do that, but I don't know how I would do that. And I haven't planned nor calculated for the matter. So we're just gonna be putting them in the fridge for the time being. So anyways, we've got our beets in our little jar, steaming up the jar like a naughty little sesh. And we're just gonna pour in all the liquid we possibly can until the jar is full. So we've got our jar with our beet juice, our garlic salt, and our goobums, and that is that. That's gonna be jar 1. We're just gonna seal the jar and set it aside for the time being and make it look aesthetic and cute, and then we'll throw these in the fridge and probably forget about them until somebody asks for the video again. I'm not gonna lie, dudes, I totally tasted this like brine. It's pretty good. I do quite like it. It's not like super sweet or anything. It's mostly vinegar and salt and then a tiny bit of garlic powder flavor, but it's mostly like just salty vinegar. It's very good like pickle vibes. So I think what I'm gonna do is also use this for the carrots and the cauliflower that I have cut up. And I'm also gonna put a few cloves of garlic in this. And then we'll do this also as like one of our pickled veggies, just with like the remainder of this brine that I have here. So again, we're gonna monopolize another jar and then just have at it. And we'll start with moving the brine so it gets the fuck out of my way. And then I say that and I drop it and it goes everywhere. And I know I'm saying that so that it's like jinxing it, but it's not. And me being self-aware of the failure that might ensue. But outside of that, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna put all these like carrots in here. And also like cram in this slightly old, just a couple of weeks old, what is it, cauliflower in here. And you know, it's still pretty good looking actually. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would kind of go to shit by now, but impressively it hasn't. So that's a sign that it was meant for this video, unintentionally, but meant for the video nonetheless. And I don't think I'm gonna be able to fit all of it, so we'll just do that. We're gonna take couple cloves of garlic as well. If you cannot see, that is indeed garlic. And just plop those in there. Get in a few more carrots. What a vibe. Try and force in the rest of this cauliflower because I have no shame and I know we like to shove it in. So that is that. So I'm just gonna put the rest of these carrots aside and we're just gonna move on to the next phase, which is not pouring the liquid into the sink like a failure. So we're just gonna fill this one up as well with the delicious beet brine. Oh yeah, she is right up to the brim. God, it looks like the blood of the innocent. Dude, look how pinky poppin' that is. I know you can't see it super well. Like, we'll do better lighting when we review this, but this is just kind of like a gauge of what we're up to, you know? So now we're actually gonna make the real brine. We're actually gonna try and make the brine and measure it like a good baby bop, because I don't measure. Regarding the brine, I'm not gonna use the normal salt. I am going to just stick with the garlic salt because it's the only thing that I can get out without it being that diabolical to get out of this. And like, there's extra stuff added to this garlic salt. It's mostly just like garlic, but there's also garlic oil and rice concentrate. That's comforting, and then salt as well. So whatever. Anyways, use something better if you want, but I'm kind of trash, so I don't really care. And yeah. The vinegar is already really warm, so I'm not even gonna worry that much about like the dissolving process for the sugar and for the salt and stuff. I'm sure it's gonna do it on its own, and also we're gonna have these things in the fridge for a while, so I'm not really that worried about it. So I've just got a clear plastic bowl here. Probably not the best move given that I'm handling acid, but it's not gonna be for that long, so it probably doesn't matter. So we're gonna start off with just pouring basically all of this vinegar in here. It's slightly over 2 cups. It's like 2 and a quarter cups. So 2 1/4 cups of that. And then we will get our measuring devices for the other things. So that was 1 tablespoon for 2 1/4 cups, and honestly, that looks like enough. So I don't think I'm gonna add more. Then we're gonna get our garlic salt, and we're just gonna pour that in here too. And, you know, I know I'm missing a little bit. Never was good with my aim, but oh my God, actually, I have to mention this. So as I'm pouring this, I'm gonna aim to do about 2 tablespoons. But as I'm mentioning this, I have to tell you, you know, before I broke up with my ex, there was this one, like, wild trip that I went on for Thanksgiving. That's 1 tablespoon. And it was to South Carolina to, like, be with his family and hang out with them. And they were, like, a really weird fucking family. Like, the dad, it was actually, like, really screwed up. 2 tablespoons. So I'm just gonna continually stir this as I tell you this story. So, basically, I'm in, like, South Carolina, and we're doing this, like, Thanksgiving thing, and it's weird. But there's, like, they're really rich. His, like, I don't know how this happened. This dude has a really rich uncle. He owns a Tesla, like, super rich, very flex-oriented guy, right? But he's, like, a total family man. Like, it's a weird vibe. And also, like, he was kind of cringe. I liked his kid, though. His kid was pretty cute. Pretty sweet baby. Really, like, hyper kid. But anyways, regarding the whole, like, thing with me hanging out, we were there for a few days. Basically just hanging out, constantly eating and drinking and playing sports, and one of those things was archery. And they had like an archery like thing in their neighborhood. It was like a super rich, like millionaire-esque neighborhood. Like, it was insane. And I'm sitting here going like, God, how can I have this? And then I meet the people and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be these kinds of people. But regarding the archery thing, like, I haven't done archery, but my aim that day was insane. Like, I got a 47 out of 50. I had gotten like 3 bullseyes and then a 9 and an 8. Like, so a total of 47 points for 5 arrows. And that was how they were counting the points. I don't know if that's normal. But the thing that pissed my ex off was the only time I'd ever done this was I shot 1 arrow in 3rd grade at a kids camp. And that was literally it, and I didn't do very well. But I assume that, like, my drawing and stuff has kind of made me good with my, like, accuracy, because I did really well. So, you know, it was pretty cool. And I only did it once with that level of accuracy, and the other times it was quite average. But that level of accuracy really, I think, kind of pissed off my ex, because he's really into, like, shooting guns, you know, going to the range and stuff like that. And the result was when he was, like, you know, watching me do really good with that, and then him not do really good with that. And he was kind of one of those guys that would talk shit to you but didn't want you to, like, talk shit back to him. So, like, I was kind of, like, talking shit to him, and it kind of made him upset. So, awkward. But it was totally worth it, honestly. Like, I like myself a good flex. Every now and then a flex gives some incel gains, you know? So, this should be good, honestly, this brine. Flavor-wise, the brine's totally fine. It's got a little sweet, mostly salty, very vinegar, pretty good. I think the ratios we did were probably a good plan. So now I've got my jar again, and this time we're just gonna be doing garlic. And this is honestly my dream. Garlic whole, garlic in anything, I'll eat it, I don't care. The only time I've ever found something too garlicky was this one time when I was like 7, and my mom took me to Palm Springs, California for a family vacation. And my mom made this like pasta, and I remember it was swelteringly hot in the summer, a dark evening, boiling outside, and we were hanging out at the pool all day and having fun. and she made this pasta, and it just had like so much strong garlic flavor that I couldn't eat it. But outside of that, her cooking's pretty great, so I mean, I think that was the only time I never wanted to eat her food. Every other time it's been pretty good. I cannot believe it. I peeled 5 whole, like, you know, bulbs of garlic, and they all perfectly fit in this jar. Accuracy right there. Okay. And I'm probably gonna need to make more brine for the last one, or we'll just use this little bit of like beet brine or whatever, I don't care. So that is the pickled garlic that is gonna be starting off. And now I've got my favorite thing in the world that I literally eat like potato chips, which is like basically just jalapenos sliced, both red and like green jalapenos. And I don't know if you know this, but in the wake of spice, like, my pleasure is other people's pain. Like, I love spice. It is honestly one of my favorite things. Like, the spicier, the better. You know how hot this is? Can you make it hotter? Like, put as much heat into it as possible. And I've only had one time where that heat has hurt my stomach. And that was when I worked at this place that was like a wing joint for a very short amount of time, where my catalytic converter got stolen, and I basically quit as soon as I finished, like, training there, because it was terrible, and there was no management. It was like, just grab your food and run, and nothing came out, and the whole kitchen was run by teenagers. It was just a disaster. No management. It sucked. We had management issues the whole time. Most restaurants, though. But anyways, I was there, and I had this sauce called Dum Dum sauce, and they had like 47 sauces or some ridiculous amount of sauces that you could choose from, all scaling in heat, and that was the hottest one. And I have to tell you, it was literally like pain, like the most painful experience ever. Like, I was crying when I was eating it. I had it on cauliflower wings. I was crying when I was eating it, and then when I got home, I started having the worst stomach ache ever that like anything, like nothing could cure. Hot water bottle, Pepto-Bismol, like nothing could fix it. So I was just in pain, and that was the time I learned my limit. And I don't even know what they put in there. It was something insane. Like, it was like a ridiculous amount of like something like ghost pepper or something like ridiculous, like Carolina Reaper or some shit. It was like extract oriented. It was like not a normal hot sauce. So we're just gonna pour the rest of the brine over these peppers. So we've got her going. She's extra cloudy with that garlic salt. I'm gonna make a little bit more brine. What do you guys think about the really sweet pickles that they sell at the store? I'm really not inclined, but when I was a kid, I really liked them. But they were one of those pickles that you would have a little bit of and you would feel sick. They were like sugar. It was like in a syrup, basically. And now I have the cutest thing ever. Tiny little pickles. Honestly, listen, they might be below average, but they're cute and awesome nonetheless, and I love them. They were actually, like, literally called cucumber popper cuties or something, and that's why I got them. It's just because the name sounded really cute. So we're gonna fill the jar with these, and then we're just gonna do this last batch, trying to get as many of these in here as possible. So now we're just gonna add our brine to this, and yeah, little pickles. We all love a pickle. Pretty accurate. Quite nice. Love that. Just gonna seal her off. So we have the cucumbers, we have the garlic, we have the jalapenos, we have the beets in the beet brine, and then we also have the cauliflower and the carrots in the beet brine. So this is our arsenal of deliciousness. We're gonna leave these in the fridge for about, give or take, 3 days. So, you know, I mean, I'm recording this on Monday, and we're gonna be checking this out on about Thursday. We're finally doing the tasting, my people. I'm so sorry it's taken this long, and I know the microphone is suboptimal. Trust me when I say that. I broke the other one, so we're using the blue snowball. From the beets, to the garlic, to the cauliflower and carrots, to the little pickles, and then to the pickled peppers. So we're gonna go through this and we're gonna see if they're actually good. It has been 2 weeks, so I hope they are good and not gross. But we're going to start with the beets because I love beets. They look pretty good. They're a very beety beet. They look pretty good. They're very beety. They're very beety. And They are definitely pickled beets. I would say the best thing to do with these would be put a bunch of olive oil with them. They're garlicky, they're salty, they're sour, they have a little bit of that crunch left, and I like them a lot. They're pretty king. We are going to be rating all of these, so those are the beets. Then we have the garlic, and I love garlic, and this one is starting to... I am confused as to what's going on with the garlic ones, because if you don't notice this, they're kind of bubbling, bros. They're kind of bubbling, and I don't know if they're supposed to be. There's nothing that's supposed to be carbonated here, but somehow the water has become carbonated. They're not, like, gross looking at all. They are going green, which hopefully isn't poisonous. I don't think it is. But we're just gonna take one of these suckers out and see if they're good. And I don't care about double dipping and all that because I'm going to be the only one eating this, and I'm sure I'm going to eat all of it as long as it doesn't make me sick, or whatever. But this is the garlic, so it looks like, you know, just a little piece of garlic right there. Hope you can see that. It's just a little piece of garlic. It's got a little that is so fucking awkward. I'm gonna eat it anyways. I cleaned the table. It's fine. I'm so confused by this. So this is the garlic, and it's a little bit weird because it's partly green and partly not, and I can see it fizzling, and all of it's literally bubbling, dudes. I can hear it bubbling, and it's making bubble noises, and I don't think it's supposed to be doing that. But, we'll just wing it. What's the worst thing that can happen, you know? I don't know. It's not really super, like, pickly. It's a little pickly tasting, like a little briny. But it mostly just tastes like garlic. Like, I feel like nothing really permeated into this. It would probably need a lot more time. Now we're going to do the cauliflower and carrots. And if you haven't noticed, as I previously explained, some of these use the beet brine, and some of these use regular, like, garlicky brine. And then this one is one that uses the beet brine. So I don't actually remember how I did this. Maybe it uses like partial beet and then partial not. I completely forgot, I'm not gonna lie. And then also, isn't this adorably pink? I fucking hate pink and this is so cute. It's like magenta. I can't open it. I swear to God, if I get beet juice on the carpet, my roommate's gonna kill me. I can't lose that security deposit, I swear to God. Bro, she's not opening. She's not opening, what do I do? I want this so bad. Fuck! I literally can't open it. This is the worst thing I've ever... I'm not fucking with you guys. I can't open it. Well, this is awkward. I am so annoyed right now. I'm not even kidding. How do I open this? Maybe I need... One sec. I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. I've got grippy gloves. Don't ask why I have these. So I've always thought that fingerless gloves are cool, and I think this is going to be the first time these things are actually going to become useful and not just be an emo aesthetic. If I can get them on, this might solve the problem. I have to say this, by the way. I have really tiny hands, so finding gloves that fit are honestly, like, a nightmare. These ones fit perfectly. So let's try and actually, like, get this open. I did it. I did it. I fucking did it. I did it, guys. Oh, shit. Okay, we did it. We got it open with the gloves. That's all it took. There's a cauliflower in here. So there's a cauliflower in here. And it's severely magenta. And I have to say, I'm really into this. I'm super into it. Maybe it'll be gross, but I think it's gonna be great. It's super crunchy, and it's a total vibe. If you like sour and cauliflower, you will adore this. All of this would be great covered in olive oil. Maybe we should do olives next. Brine our own olives. That'd be cool. Or make our own olive oil. That'd be wild. We also have the carrots, and these carrots went from being like orange to being like pinky orange, like salmon colored. In fact, if you really wanted to, you could maybe try and make a salmon substitute out of these or something and just like color it with beet juice. It's kind of a vibe. That'd kind of be cool. I don't know if it'd be good though. Those are pretty good. I like them. They're a nice little earthy carrot vibe, you know? So now we have the pickles. And they floated to the top, and they look a little wrinkled. So I don't know how crunchy these are going to be. Dude, honestly, the gloves are a must. The gloves are an absolute must for opening these jars. So I've got the pickles right here. So I've got the little pickledy guy right here. It looks like a pickle, and hopefully it tastes and is crunchy like a pickle. It's really crunchy. I'm surprised. I thought it wouldn't be crunchy. And it does have that pickle flavor. These are tiny little babies, but honestly, it is a total vibe. I'm so happily surprised with how this turned out. And now for what I suspect will be my favorite, because I love spicy food. And these are jalapenos, and I love jalapenos. Just open up, you stupid fucking cunt. I just want my jalapenos, bruh. I just want my fucking jalapenos. And the dogs are looking at me. If you haven't noticed, there are babies all around the room. They're just hiding right now because I'm yelling at a jar. I really can't open this one. Dude. Okay. It took a one-hand job. Okay. We don't need these on anymore. We did it. I can't believe how nice the set looks, by the way. If you looked at the rest of my room, you'd see an absolute dumpster fire. So these smell super jalapeno. Super jalapeno vibe. So I have the green jalapeno. It's a little reddy, but I think that's just the jalapeno. The dog's looking at me eating jalapenos. This is the best thing I've ever put in my mouth in my entire life. It's like a banana pepper. Honestly, if you've ever had the banana peppers from the jar, it literally tastes like that. I very much want this red one as well. That one's less crunchy, but I like it. So we did it, my people. We actually did it. I really think they're all really good. In terms of pickling, the garlic is barely pickled, but it's weirdly carbonated, so I don't know what happened. The pickles turned out pretty good, but I think the pickled jalapenos are probably the best, then the beets, then the cauliflower and carrot mix, then the pickles, then the garlic. I think it's like that. So it's like da, on the basis of delicious pickled goodness. So we did it. I'm happily surprised. Didn't think that would work out. Figured they would mold in the fridge over the course of 2 weeks, actually. And all of these things would be really good with like olive oil all over them. In fact, I'll be right back. We're gonna try something. I've got a bowl and some olive oil, my dudes. I thought this would be a great idea. This is a lunch fit for a little European. This is definitely a lunch fit for like a Greek Italian, let me tell you that much. So let's just take a couple of these dealios. Bump. Bump, bump. One of these. Maybe a carrot, pickle surprise. And then also we'll put a garlic in here. Maybe we'll put 2. Those lovely carbonated garlics, and then we need some beets in this bitch. So, we've got a mix of deliciousness right up in there. And then we're gonna do the only right thing. This is so good looking. We've got it with the olive oil, and we're gonna enjoy it. It's 69 million times better with the olive oil. And we have an olive oil beet. This is great. This is awesome. The pickles don't really do anything with the olive oil though. A little garlic and olive oil. Maybe I'm an incel because I eat raw garlic, and maybe nobody wants to kiss me. That makes so much sense. This is why I can't get a boyfriend. My breath just smells like raw garlic all the time. At least I'm not a vampire, but I'll still at least find a way to suck somebody else dry. You know, suck the soul out of their dick. Honestly, I love this so much. I hope my lovely patron enjoyed his pickles. I hope Mr. Freezing Wreck has enjoyed the endeavor and also gives this a hearty go. The dog's still looking at me. And crunching papers. I have a lot of paper on my bed right now. My room's kind of a mess, I'm not gonna lie. I have tech everywhere. Hello? Mr. Fitzy Popple? My room is a mess and it's covered in technology. There's tech all over my room right now. I ordered some new stuff. I'll probably showcase it in an unboxing soon. Let's combine everything together. All the last morsels. I'm sweating a lot from the jalapenos, I'm not gonna lie. They're great though. Beets plus jalapeno, it's a vibe, dudes. And the carrot. And the last garlic. I'm also gonna try this with one more thing. I have some leftover pasta salad that I had in my fridge, and it's just like a mix of pasta, olive oil, garlic, little baby tomatoes and stuff. And then I'm gonna put a bunch of avocado in it, and hopefully not screw up getting the avocado in here. Good enough. And then put a little bit of everything else in here, and then we'll vibe with it. We got a little bit of everything in here, and we're gonna eat it all together. And hopefully the sound isn't that bad, because I think the sound in this video is not gonna be great. The avocado makes it so much better. I don't need a father. I'll tell you this right now. This was one of the best lunches I've had in a while. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Good stuff. I'm impressed. This was fun. This was sick. I loved this. It was worth the 2-week wait. It was totally worth the 2-week wait. I hope you all enjoyed, my people, and you also give this a lovely go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Slater.